You know how there are just some books that are like your favorites, but if someone says something about it, you're like, you know, I could kind of see that, you know, like, or maybe, you know, you do have a point. These 10 books that I'm about to talk about, no, I'm not listening to your point. I don't care about your point. If you have a negative opinion about any of these books, it's simply invalid to me, okay? These 10 books are perfection to me. I know there are people that love to then like comment on things when people are talking about things that they love and be like, well, I hated that. Cool. You may hate some of these books. This isn't the place for it, okay? Thank you. So anyways, this video today is in collaboration with some of my favorite people here on BookTube. Sam from Sam Reads Little, she came up with this idea and asked me, Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl, and Nicki from Nicki and Bookland if we wanted to collab. And we're all going to be bringing you our 10 books that we will hear no criticism on. Are these my 10 favorite books of all time? Some of them, yes. Some of them probably wouldn't make my top 10 list. However, they are books that I just consider perfection, okay? Like, I don't want to hear any criticisms about. I think they were so masterfully done, and I don't care to hear any critiques. So these are also in no particular order either, because that's too much work to try to like order them. So I'm just gonna pull them off my stack here as we go through. So first up, we got Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas. This is the third book in the Devil's Night series. Even though the second book, Hideaway, is my personal favorite, this one is a very, very close second. However, this one, I truly and wholeheartedly believe that it is perfect. It is literally perfect from start to finish. The character progression of Damon that he has in this book, but also because this is an interconnected series of following different couples, we saw Damon in the first book and we saw him in the second book and we hated him going into this third book. And the turnaround that he has in here is just God tier. It's amazing. And also his relationship with Winter and how that plays into his character progression, again, amazing. Winter as a heroine, phenom. Damon as an anti-hero, kill me. Like, absolutely obsessed with this book. So I can't really say too much plot-wise, because like I said, the Devil's Night series, you do have to read in order, even though all of these books follow different couples. But kind of the premise of the series is that there's this group of 4 guys, 4 best friends, and on every year on Devil's Night, they go out and they create kind of like ruckus across town. And after one of these Devil's Nights, something happens and 3 of them are sent to prison. And then at the very beginning of the first book, the 3 of them are back out of prison and they are ready to get revenge on the person that they believe sent them to prison. You see Damon in that and you really see just how like messed up he is, but you know, we love a hurting, messed up bad boy. And by the third book, he definitely has some redeeming to do, and him and Winter have quite a bit of history. And also he is marrying her sister in this one. So, you know, they got a lot of issues that they got to work through in this book, but it's just truly fantastic. And I will hear not a single criticism about it because it's perfect. Next up, now this one is the 4th book in a series. Y'all shouldn't be surprised that this book is making an appearance on here, and that's Twist by Lucia Franco. And I quite literally can't say anything that happens specifically in this book because this series is a 5-book series following the same couple. So like you have to read them in order, like it would make no sense in here. But this is a very taboo book between a gymnast and her coach. It's a big age gap, and sports romance, obviously heavy on the gymnastics. I personally really enjoy that. This series as a whole, I don't want to hear any criticism on, but in particular this book. This book is just soul shattering. I love every single moment in here. I've tabbed some of my favorite scenes, and there is in particular one of my favorite scenes I've ever read in a book, ever in my entire life in this book, because here's the thing. Since this is the 4th book, there is so much buildup, so much hurt, so much resentment, so much love, so much passion, so much fear that is built between these 2 characters and in their relationship, that in this 4th book is when things kind of really come to a head for both of them individually and as a couple. And it is just explosive. It's insane. It's like one scene that takes place over like, what is it, like 100 or 150 pages, and it is just wild how good that scene is. And truly, like, this book is just masterful. I love this entire series obviously, but this book in particular. Let's switch it up and go with a fantasy, which I feel like this is also going to be on Sam's list, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. So this book, ACOTAR, is just one of my favorite series of all time. It's definitely, I'd say, like my 2nd favorite fantasy series of all time. And this book in particular is widely known, I feel like, as being the star book of the series. Personally, I love this one, don't get me wrong. ACOWAR is actually my favorite. It's book 3. However, this one is the one that I do truly, I can't see a single criticism about it. Like, it is beautiful from start to finish, and that entirely has to do with Feyre's journey in this book, and particularly obviously with this dude on the cover here. But obviously if you haven't read it, I mean, I feel like a lot of people know spoilers now by this point with things that happen. I don't want to be the one to spoil it if you haven't, but all I'll say is that this is a fantasy series, but it's definitely very easy. Like if you are not a fantasy reader and you're kind of intimidated about like world building and such, this is honestly such a great fantasy romance series to try, because especially if you're a romance reader, because there is a little bit of spice in here. I mean, this book in particular gets to be more. In the first book, there's some. The thing with the world building is that it's not that complex. Like it's really not. So it doesn't feel very like info dumpy, where Crescent City, one of Sarah Thomas's other series, I feel like is really heavy on world building and info dumping, where you're not going to get that in here, and it's more like character driven, which I really love and appreciate. The mental health representation is here is what I really love. I love seeing Feyre's journey. She went through some very traumatic things in book 1, and now she's just trying to heal and kind of like find just any sort of desire to exist in this book, and then watching her find that and find her happiness in her true home and love. Utter perfection. And even the pacing of it is great. Like it's a slow burn. It's a slow journey. It's not like all of a sudden she wakes up one day and she's like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. Like everything's good again. No, it's like very, very slow burning with that. But I personally loved that because you're really with her every step of the way with her struggles. And again, I don't want to hear criticism about it. Okay, next up. If you watch some of my videos, you probably knew this one was coming as well. Hello, Dorian. Dorian's crawling out of his little napping spot because his sissy came in here and he's got to keep an eye on her. Dorian has FOMO. He has to always know where his sister is at all times. But anyways, if you watch my channel, you'll probably see this one coming. And it is a fan fiction, but I'm including it anyways, because this is truly the most masterful thing I've ever read in my entire life. And I will not hear a single bad word uttered about this. I don't care. If you, I haven't even seen a single person that's read this and has anything negative to say about it, because it's that absolutely incredible. And the fact that Sun Yu, who wrote this, can't even make money off of this because it's like a fan fiction, she deserves to be a billionaire because of this book. So as you can tell, it's huge. This is a Draco and Hermione fan fiction. So in Harry Potter lore, I think it's like an after Order of the Phoenix. If Harry Potter lost, if like the Order lost and Voldemort took over, and then it's like Harry Potter meets Handmaid's Tale. So they're trying, Voldemort has like this repopulation effort, and Hermione is one of the last surviving members of the Order, and she has been kept in like this dark cell for a very extended period of time, having no clue like when she's going to get out. And she is taken out of captivity to be given to Draco, who is the High Reeve, and she is going to be his handmaiden. And it's very, very dark. This is more of a war drama. It obviously is very heavily romance between Hermione and Draco. However, it's dark. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like spicy, but you honestly don't even need it. I think there's maybe like 1 or 2 scenes in here. You don't need it. Trust me. You know me, guys. I'm always like, you better throw some spice in there. You don't even need it in here. It's masterful. So it's told in present, and then it has a huge chunk of flashbacks, and then we're back to the present. I have no words to express how just like absolutely amazing this is. And if anyone says a negative thing about it, like I honestly don't even trust your opinion like on anything else entirely, because if you read this and don't agree that it is masterful, truly I can't trust you on anything, because I just simply think that then you're wrong. It's phenomenal, and I'm so glad to have my bound copy. Except it's a little bit more of a lighthearted one. However, I just don't care, because I think these two are just like the it couple, and I just don't care if you don't agree with me. And that's Kiss the Sky by Kristen Becca-Ritchie. So this is book 4 in the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series when you read them together. And it's Rose and Connor's book. And let me just tell you, they are just that couple. And if you don't like them, and if you're not on board with them, then again, I just don't think that you have taste, because they are just those people. So Rose is the older sister of Lily, who you meet in the first couple books, and you do have to read them in order. So I just want to, like, you should read them in order. I mean, you don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want, but you should read them in order. So you meet Rose's younger sister, and you also see Rose and Connor in the beginning. But Rose is a very, very determined woman. So she started a fashion line at 15, and she's always just been very set on her goals. She's a go-getter. She's extremely smart. And she has always had this academic rival, Connor Cobalt, who again, he's just like hot shit. He knows his stuff. He knows he's smart. He's the CEO of a diamond, or no, does he have the diamond company yet? I don't know. He's like a CEO and he's like 21. You know, they're both from very wealthy families and they just truly can match, like no one else's intelligence matches theirs. So they are truly the only two people who can like spar with each other and actually have a fair chance of it. And it is just so fun to watch them. And in this book in particular, with some of the events that happened previously, they start filming a reality TV show following their families. Every single part of this book was just amazing, and every single piece of the two of them, I won't hear a single critique on, because they are just, like I said, they're just the it couple. And if you don't get it, then I don't know what to tell you. Let's do my other fantasy one here, because I love this book with my entire heart and soul, and that is Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. So this is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series, my all-time favorites fantasy series. And this, I mean, look at how big this is. So obviously I really am not even going to try to say anything plot-wise about the Throne of Glass series, because I don't know how to explain how to even like get to this book, because it's 5 books in and it's very deep. However, with this one, because you're following so many characters and you're getting so many different POVs, you would think that sometimes, you know, when you get to someone's POV, you'd be like, oh, I don't really like feel like spending time with them. I want to go back to so-and-so, because you really have like, you have Manon's whole storyline going on, you have Dorian's storyline going on, you have Elite and Lorcan, you have Adian and Lysandra, you have Aelin and Rowan. You have so many people in here that you're getting POVs from, and every single one of them is fantastic. Every single one of their storylines is amazing to follow. This entire book is utter perfection. The way it ends, the way it starts, everything in between, the pacing, the battles, the character progression, literally this entire book, you know, like it's thick. How many pages is this? So like almost 700 pages, almost 700, but not a single page or sentence is wasted, honestly, in this. It's just utter perfection. And I love the Throne of Glass series so much. The first couple books are rough to get through. I'll hear critiques on those. Pretty much once you get to Heir of Fire and on though, I don't want to hear a single critique. Next up, okay, I'm so sorry if you can hear that noise scratching behind me. Arya's having playtime now. She has like these little spiral things that she likes to bat around, but they make a lot of noise on my floor, so I'm really sorry. But next up, let's just go with my sweet little slow burn babies. Sweet Dandelion by Macaulay Smelter. I have loved this book for years. It is forever one of my go-to romance recommendations, especially because it's not like, it's not super dark. It's not super like kinky or anything. It's like just a slow burn, character-driven romance following Dani, who is a high school senior. She had to take a year off of school and she's going back, so she's actually 19, and she went through a very traumatic situation at her last school where there was a school shooter and she was shot and injured, and her mother was shot and killed, and now she's in a new school living with her older brother, just struggling with her grief and struggling with her trauma. And at this new school she gets connected with the new guidance counselor there, Lachlan, and it's their romance. Dani's journey in this is just forever my favorite. Like, I compare this with Feyre's from A Court of Mist and Fury, where it's just like my favorite mental health journey that I've seen in a book and witnessed. And again, it's long, it's slow burn, they fight it because obviously it's forbidden that they're supposed to be together, but truly you see Dani go from being a very sad, almost like numb person with no desire and like no happiness. She doesn't like seek out anything that brings her joy, because just nothing brings her joy. She's pretty much just existing, to then seeing her thriving, standing on her own, going on adventures, doing things that she wants to do, and like live this life that she has to the fullest because she knows how short it can be. It's beautiful. It's perfection. And I just recommend this book to everyone. I will say, if you don't like character-driven books, if you want something with like a lot of plot and like huge plot twists and like chapters that end on like cliffhangers and stuff, that's not gonna be this book. But if you truly just want a beautiful story, then look no further. Look at this. I straightened this morning. I had someone comment on a video a while back, like, oh, how do you get your hair to like curl like that? I straightened this. It's just curling itself. Okay, I hate it. I hate my hair. Anyways, sorry, that's not what we're here for. Sam, sorry. She hated this book. I love this book with my whole heart and soul, and that is Where the Mountains Meet the Sea by A.R. Breck. Where do I even begin with this book right here? Okay, so this one is a childhood best friends to lovers, second chance So Roman and Luna, their families both live on the same lake, and they grow up together on this lake, and they like are best friends. And then when they get into high school, they fall in love, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. However, Roman has dreams of being a rock star and going on tour with his band, and he ends up doing that and leaves Luna behind. And Luna is a year younger than him in school, so she has to obviously stay for her senior year, and she really wants to be a ballerina, and her dream is to go to Juilliard and dance. And their dreams obviously take them in opposite directions, and then it's about their lives and like them finding their way back to each other. Here is the thing with this book, and the reason why I won't hear any critique on it is because there is, I think it's about like 160 pages that follow them from when they're 6 to like 18 years old. So that's like a large chunk of them being in their childhood. You see them as like, what, 5 and 6? No, it's not 5 and 6, maybe like 6 and 7. And then you see them at like middle school, and then you see them in high school. Over the course of that time. I remember when I was in the middle of reading that, I was kind of like, when are they gonna be older? When are we gonna get like past this? And then when I read the book as a whole, I realized that every single moment of that childhood of them spent together was so needed, so vital to the story, so important, and you just have to have the full picture in order to realize it. This book broke my heart, absolutely shattered me. I loved every moment of it. And I just can't think, like, these two are soulmates. They were soulmates. And if you read this book and you can think anything else, I don't want to hear it. Because the things that they both went through individually before they found their way back to each other were both so devastating to read. And then when they finally got back together in the time, I don't even want to say anymore. It's an experience you have to have for yourself. There are some really dark things in here. But truly, I don't want to hear a single criticism about this book. Next up, I'm kind of cheating here a little bit because this is actually a series. However, it's a series of novellas, and literally find me one person who talks about these individually. You can't. Everyone just talks about it as a whole, so I'm including it as a whole. And that's the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. So it's 5 novellas all in this one bind up. So it averages out to be almost 700 pages, a little under 700 pages, but you got 5 books to go towards your reading goal with it. So like win-win. So this one follows a serial killer and an FBI profiler. And so Lana is the serial killer, and she has her list, and she's checking off these people that she's getting her revenge on. And in the midst of that, she just happens to see this hot man at a coffee shop one day. They just happen to hit it off. And by pure accident, she starts to fall in love with him and realizes that he is an FBI agent, and he is actually profiling her case and trying to catch her. And Logan has not a single idea that the new woman that he's dating is the serial killer that he's trying to catch. And this is dark, obviously, because Lana, she is justified in her reasons. If you come out of this with a single negative thing to say about Lana, I don't want to know you. I'm being like, I don't know how you could have anything negative to say about Miss Lana Myers and about her journey. We support women's wrongs here. And if you don't, bye. Honestly, I liked their romance. It's fine. It's whatever. Truly, this series is about Lana's journey though. And I will hear not a single critique about how Lana went about doing her business and getting her revenge. And if you read it, I think that you will also be on her side. And last but not least, Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. This is the 3rd book in the Twisted series and my personal favorite. And again, one that I just don't care. I know there are some people that got really upset about something that Josh did in the middle of this book. But you know what? My jaw dropped when he did that certain thing. And I was like, you gave us a little something extra, Josh. And you know what? I don't care. That was insane. My jaw truly dropped reading that scene. And so, you know, I get that some people don't like it, but you know what? I also don't get it, and I don't care. So this one, obviously the 3rd book. So Josh is the older brother of the heroine from the 1st book, and Jules is the best friend of the heroine from the 1st book. So it's like best friend's brother romance, and it's also hate to love and enemies with benefits, because Josh and Jules have hated each other since day one, and you see that in the earlier books of like how much they hate. You can jump right into this one, you don't have to read the other ones, but they just really don't like each other. However, Jules is studying, she's like in her last year of law school to like take her tests or whatever, so she's really stressed out with school. She does not have time for a boyfriend. And Josh, he's a doctor and has like residency or something. He's also really busy at work, and they just have no time to date. But you know what they do have time for? They need some time to blow off some steam, and they need someone to do it that understands that it's not gonna like go anywhere. They're like, you know what, as much as we hate each other, we can both appreciate that we're like both hot people, and like hot people should just get together and do fun things together. And that's what they start doing. But like no dating, no feelings, like nothing like that's gonna happen. But you know that never lasts, and it's their romance, and I love it. No critiques. That is it for today's video. Make sure that you check out Nicki, Sam's, and Cheyenne's videos. I'm going to have all of their channels linked down below with their videos, so that way you can see what 10 books they will not hear criticism on. I feel like I know a couple of them that are going to be on certain ones of their videos, so I'm excited to see if I'm correct in that assumption. But anyways, that is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.